Welcome to the Gambia, a nation on the rise, investing in the future through education, research, science, and technology. This time, we explore the transformative journey led by the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Sciences, and Technology. Let's delve into the ministry's current implementations and futuristic vision. At USET, innovation meets practicality. New degree programs and state-of-the-art equipment are setting the stage for future entrepreneurs.
The former GTTI, which was mandated in 1980 to train the Gambia citizens in the technical skills area, everything has been packaged, and we call that one Institute for Technical Training under USET. And in that institute, we are developing a new degree program in building services. We call that one the Bachelor of Technology in Building Services, which is something that the Gambia needs a lot. It requires the knowledge of construction, plumbing, wiring, air conditioning, and all those things that go into a building. And we have another one that we call the College of Science and Engineering. Under that, we have 3 degree programs. The first one is Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Then we have also formed another branch called Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And under that, we are developing a new degree program called Bachelor of Science in Technology Management. So these are the new degree programs that are on the way. Now, the Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, Electrical Engineering, and Civil Engineering are already accredited by NACA. The rest are being under development. In our thinking, we decided to have 2 types of equipment. For each of the programs, we have the laboratory equipment, which the students use to test their theory. So once you teach the theory, we have the equipment that they use to test the theory and to see how the theory works in real life. Then we have commercial equipment that we use to train the students for their skill set. And those commercial equipment are close to the industry standards. Some of them are even higher than the ones you see around. Some of them are the modern type equipment, which the Gambia needs, and maybe they are not yet present here in the Gambia. So we train them on those type of equipment, so that when they leave and they get a chance to use them, they know how to use them right away. We have the mandate to train students to be entrepreneurs instead of graduating and go look for a job which may not exist for them. Or the Gambia is probably not big enough to have all those industries that they need. So we train in them not to just have the degree, but to have a degree with entrepreneurship skills, so that when they graduate, they have the mindset that they're going to develop businesses, establish businesses. Of course, even if we can get a portion, 10% or 20%, to generate jobs for the youngsters, that would be good. So actually, we're training them to be entrepreneurs, to be the people who actually build their businesses. So with the knowledge and skills that they have, hopefully they can build the businesses after a few years in the field. So we have the Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and their mandate is to ensure that every program within USET has some entrepreneurship embedded in it. So if you're doing electrical engineering, you go through a course or a series of courses in entrepreneurship. If you're doing welding, go through a series of courses in entrepreneurship. So we have that mandate that every program would have some entrepreneurship embedded in it. So we're actually revising all the programs, the old ones, to have entrepreneurship embedded in them, and the new ones, probably easier to have them embedded in the new ones. So that's how we actually integrate the entrepreneurship with the skills that we talk about, technical skills. As a country, you need to have more small businesses, and that happens anywhere in the world. In the US, the basic economy is run by small businesses. Then, of course, you have the bigger ones. But if you actually look, you find out that small businesses carry the day. And if we can have more small businesses that are aligned to the needs of the Gambia, okay, the development of Gambia will proceed faster. Right now, you have many students who do not want to pursue the kind of courses that we have because they are hard courses. When it comes to USET, our courses are science-based, mathematics-based. So, I advise the high school students, if they want to come to USET, and we want them to come to USET because the country would have to be developed by the products of USET. And we like them to consider USET. And before you can come to USET, you need to have the necessary combination of subjects in the secondary school. And as a whole, I think the government is doing a good job. It has a good plan. One thing I can say is that technical education is very expensive. Our machines are very expensive. Because we want to train students on the skill set, we need to have a lot more funding in terms of the equipment and the consumables, because the students have to use the real material in their training. You cannot just simulate it on a blackboard. You have to use their hands, and the budget for education should be considered very seriously, since now we're talking about technical education. It costs more.
Gambia is equipping students with practical skills and opportunities through various initiatives and state-of-the-art facilities.
The university has what we call the Quality Plus Agenda, which places student experience at its core. To enhance the experiences of our students, we have been able to undertake and implement various initiatives and projects with key partners. Notably, amongst this are the United Nations Development Program, that's the UNDP, United Nations Populations Fund, UNFPA. We also have a collaboration with the National Human Rights Commission, the National Assembly of the Gambia, and recently the Ministry of Youth and Sport through the National Youth Service Scheme. Our partnership with the United Nations Development Program, as far as student experience or intensive opportunities are concerned, dated back, if I can remember well, 2020, 2021, which saw the deployment of 52 graduates to various local government area councils and governors' offices across the country. In 2023, we solidified this collaboration, also including the Ministry of Youth and Sports, which saw the deployment of 100 graduates of the university through the National Youth Service Scheme, through a very interesting initiative dubbed the National Youth Graduate Scheme of the Gambia, which eventually was launched by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia. Further to this, we have engaged the United Nations Populations Fund, that's the UNFPA, in also similar internship opportunities, where the National Assembly this time was a key partner, attracting again 100 graduates of the University of the Gambia to support the work of the National Assembly, administration, and parliamentarians. So this was also another milestone that was registered as far as student experience and internship opportunities at the university is concerned. The National Human Rights Commission also we had partnered with them to send graduates of the university to support the work of the commission, which is also a key milestone worth mentioning. In a nutshell, these were the major collaborations we have had with partners, which had enhanced our student experiences and also give them the opportunity to learn on the job, to get experience, first-hand experience to prepare them for the job market. Faraba campus, I would refer it to be a game changer for our only first state university, providing the state-of-the-art infrastructure at a time that the university was grappling with limited space. The four schools that moved to Faraba campus have had enough space when it comes to classroom space. They have had their own laboratories. They have their own amphitheaters that are wide enough to accommodate students. Also, they have office space for both faculty and administration. So I think that is a milestone achievement. It's remarkable for our only first state university. The furniture and classroom quality at Faraba Bantang is also amazing. It's amazing, one that we have not had before. And this is why I said it's a game changer as far as I know. And this has transformed the university's physical landscape to one that is worth commendation or reckon with. And this has also allowed us to provide a more conducive learning environment for our growing student population. We continue to encourage the government through the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology to support the University of the Gambia so that we can contribute to nation building. As it is now, we have collaborated with the GTSC. There's already collaboration between MoHERST and the GTSC to provide transportation to students of the university to the Faraba Bantang campus. These transportation services, although faced with little challenge, it's commendable because our students are able to reach Faraba with little hurdles. We have conducted a research to enhance these services. That research or survey report is ready. Hopefully, we will implement the recommendation to enhance the transportation services of our students to the Faraba Bantang campus. I want to call on all, both private stakeholders, government stakeholders, to collaborate with the University of the Gambia to support our higher institution of learning to contribute to nation building. We first want to commend the government for this initiative. This is one of its kind. It's a milestone in the development trajectory of this country. We still call on them to come forth in a much bigger or grand way to support the University of the Gambia through the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology to implement what we promise the Gambian people so that we can have our education system in this country enhanced and produce the best that every nation can reckon with to not only develop our country, but also the sub-region and the world at large.
The Management Development Institute, MDI, soon to be converted to a civil service university, will be at the forefront of civil service reforms, offering new programs to enhance governance.
A lot of Gambians, either administrators or civil servants, are trained at the Ghana Institute for Management and Public Administration, that's JIMPA. So every year we have handful of Gambians. They go to Ghana for training, and we find out that in our administrative cadre, we have a lot of them who were trained through that. MDI have now signed a memorandum of understanding with JIMPA, and through that MOU, JIMPA will provide opportunity for some of its courses to be domesticated and delivered in Gambia. So that means that if we are sending 2-3 people to JIMPA every year, you can be able to train more than 10 people, or even 20 or more on those courses at MDI. So through MDI and JIMPA collaboration, certain courses will now be delivered at the MDI, and they are public sector management training program at the master's level, and we have also got Master of Arts in Monitoring and Evaluation. We also have Master of Occupational Safety, Health and Environmental Management, and Master of Science in Project Management. So our Memorandum of Understanding with JIMPA, actually these courses will be available to be delivered at the Management Development Institute. In addition, we have also signed Memorandum of Understanding with Geneva School of Diplomacy and International Relations. MDI is offering a National Diploma in Diplomacy and International Relations and Peace and Conflict. So we are also offering postgraduate certificate programs. So through our Memorandum of Understanding with Geneva School of Diplomacy and International Relations, our current diploma programs are going to be further developed into 2 bachelor's degree programs. That is bachelor's degree in the Diplomacy and International Relations, and also bachelor's degree in Peace and Conflict Studies. So these are courses that are really ready, that we are going to do. If you say civil service university, that means that it is offering degree programs, masters actually, and the bachelor's degree. We also are running courses on certificate program on school management, as we are training head teachers on management. So MDI also envisage to extend that training to cover the principals at the upper basic and senior secondary schools. So in addition, these are some of the courses, but we have several courses also lined up, like the professional courses in statistics, planning, across all the civil service, fisheries. Already we are into discussions with the Department of Fisheries, to be able to develop courses on the fisheries management and here, so that we'll be offering that courses here. Likewise, we are into discussions with our National Records Office, so that we will be providing courses up to degree level on records management. And right now, the records management cadre, they don't have any training. So basically, we have trainings that are lined up to train civil service on management, administration, finance, economic. So together, this will have significant impact in the on the civil service reform. In that, we have adapted a model that we have found in Senegal at ENA. ENA is an abbreviation of École Nationale d'Administration. So that is just like the MDI in the Gambia. It is established purposely to develop or to train civil service. So when we came, we presented our report to the Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. And if I can remember him very well, to quote him, he said, we are going to go 100% ENA. That means ENA serves as a sieve for those who actually enter in the civil service. In Senegal, the Office of the Prime Minister is where the civil service falls. So they collect information on the need for employment in the civil service, and they make advertisement. Then people come people apply, those who would have had their degrees and from the universities and so on, they would apply to become civil servants. So when they apply, they sit to an exam. Those candidates who are admitted would be admitted under two categories: administrative division, economic and finance division. They are brought to ENA and they are trained on all aspects of the civil service, in particular what they are supposed to do, you know, the ethics and everything. So then they take exams again or assessment. Those who actually make it are deployed in the civil service. So when you are working as a middle level officer in the civil service, for some time you want to be promoted to the director level, to senior level now, then you sit to an exams and come back to ENA. ENA prepares you for that particular task, or for that to become a senior level civil servant. So what we are envisaging is that MDI is going to be playing that role, to have hands into those who actually come into the civil service, to be able to train civil servants, all right, and also have hand in those who are going to be promoted in the civil service. So it's not going to be like, you know, my nephew is there, my this thing here. So it's going to be completely meritocratic, you know. So MDI has significant role to play in that. And in addition, MDI, as we are doing now, of course, not to some extent, we carry out research into certain matters in the civil service and provide advice to government. That advice is based on professional findings. Basically, this is how MDI can contribute to the reform in the civil service. Notwithstanding, we are preparing to conduct a nationwide training needs assessment. And based on the findings of that training needs assessment, we are going to be developing courses that actually meet the needs of that assessment. We anticipate starting our first cohort of public sector management training in September. What I really want to emphasize is that everybody who actually is in the civil service should have the right kind of skills, expertise, and values. That is the ethics of the civil service. And that's how a lot of countries are developed. Education system is dynamic, and the public has a greater stake into it. I think we need to support our local institutions. We need to build that confidence in them.
Ensuring quality and accreditation of tertiary institutions is crucial for maintaining educational standards.
The mandate or functions of NACA are defined by law, that is the NACA Act of 2021. Principally, we issue licenses to awarding bodies, tertiary and higher education institutions. We also issue licenses to trainers, assessors, and verifiers in tertiary education institutions. We as well revoke licenses of trainers, assessors, and verifiers. We monitor and oversee the quality assurance practices of tertiary and higher education institutions. We also develop policy and criteria for assessment, recognition of prior learning, and credit accumulation and transfer, amongst other things. We also provide technical advice to the Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, who has the power to establish tertiary and higher education institutions in the Gambia. There is a process in place defined by law. For instance, somebody wants to establish an institution, tertiary and higher education institution. The first thing to do is to apply for what is called an interim authorization. Now, this is stated in the revised NACA Act of 2021. Once this application is submitted to the authority, a team will be dispatched to do the inspection, right? First, to establish the things, the location, the equipment, your personnel, the environment in general where this institution is to be located. And once the criteria is met, then the findings will be reported to the governing council of the institution, and thereafter a recommendation is now submitted to the Minister for Higher Education. That is how it is done. Now, when this tertiary or higher education institution is established, there will be a second visit to confirm further whether all what has been highlighted in the request or application for authorization are in place. First, we look at the building, the structures, whether they have met the required standards set by NACA, the personnel composition, in other words, the management structure, whether that one too is in place. And we'll also be interested to know the policies that have been developed and implemented. Equally, we'll also want to know whether there is a strategic plan that has been developed, and who are the promoters of the institution, or who are the owners of the institution. Now, once all these things are confirmed, normally, clearance is issued for the institution to start operations. NACA will only accredit a program when the standards prescribed by law have been fulfilled. The curriculum must be very relevant to the needs of the labor market, because there is no point teaching people things that are not relevant to the labor market. Because at the end of the day, when you train people for them to be marketable and for them to use their skills, it must suit the needs of the industry. So that is something that NACA will always endeavor to ensure that there is compliance in that area. The relevance of the training to the needs of the labor market. I think the first week I assumed office here, I took part in one. I witnessed one where they were trying to harmonize the curriculum of the tourism program, in the hotel industry. And all the stakeholders were invited here, to harmonize the curriculum so that what institution A is doing, institution B is also doing the same thing. They are all on the same level, okay? And all geared towards, meeting the needs of the labor market. Registered institutions, meaning they've been granted licenses to operate and they've been granted approval to start whatever operation they're supposed to do. Now, NACA will conduct the surveillance audit to ensure that the requirements that have been prescribed are in place and they have been complied with. Teams are dispatched. Sometimes they spend a week or two, depending on the volume of the work, just to scrutinize, to, what is there. And whatever faults, are detected, then it is brought to the attention of the institution for corrective actions to be taken. Okay? Now, once those corrective actions are put in place, there is a formal communication to show that you are in good standing. There is what they call recognition of prior learning. For example, there are people who have not gone through the formal school system, all right? But they have acquired skills, maybe in a mechanic garage or in a carpentry workshop, okay? Now, NACA has developed tools, okay, to measure the competence level of those people. And then if they have met those requirements, then they are placed into the appropriate level, whether level 1 or level 2, as the case may be. Government has put in place policies and programs, all geared towards attaining its predetermined goals and objectives. Each sector has a specific mandate to implement And all this is geared towards the consolidation, the strengthening, and the enhancement of the developmental aspirations of the country. Now, when programs are put in place for youth development, schools are being built, training institutions, I will encourage all the youths to take full advantage of these opportunities, because at the end of the day, it will be very useful for themselves and to the nation at large. Now, gone are the days where people just aspire to become employees. Instead, they should become employers. If you are skilled, you are well versed in your area, I mean, you can employ more people instead of relying wholly and solely on government for employment. And I want to believe that youths are taking full advantage of these opportunities that are there, and for them to become useful and productive citizens.
So these are some of the interventions we have. They would not fail the system. But this time around, we are putting emphasis on TVET education. You know, we have a lot of our young ones that are moving out of the country, probably because they are not, properly skilled. Beyond skilling, they do not have the right market, in this country. So the focus here is give them the skills, but do not stop there. Create that entrepreneurial mindset in them so that they would understand that it is not just government that should provide jobs for them. It is not just those private sectors that should provide jobs for them. They have what it takes, from the skills they are going to learn, to establish their own businesses. So if you look at the new World Bank project we are, implementing, is basically around that. How do you create a generation of Gambians, that would come out of the school, create their own jobs? We have a situation in this country, and that is the issue of employability. And as a ministry responsible for skills development, for human capital, we will do our part. We will do everything possible to ensure that these youth, have the right skills to create their own jobs. This might be limited in the beginning, but we have to have faith in the system and ensure that this is done properly. So I call on all the institutions that are implementing this program under the ministry, take this very seriously, because these are our sons and daughters. We leave this office, we go back to our homes, we share the same meals, so that's the Gambia we know. So every Gambian should see it that way, and we work collectively, put our strengths together and ensure that the youth are out of this predicament.
The Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology is paving the way for a brighter future in the Gambia, where knowledge and innovation drive progress. This is brought to you by the Ministry of Information as part of its public consultation and popularization of the government agenda initiatives.